in control against Artosis debate and keep going back and forth.
That'll be easy.
It is April 5th, 2011, and welcome to State of the Game. I'm JP McDaniel, losing my voice already, and on today's show, we'll be discussing MLG Dallas, TSL3, IGN Pro League, and much more going on in the StarCraft 2 world. But first, let's introduce the host here. Also, Jeff had a last-minute cancellation, so I do want to apologize for that. He wanted to come on, but he actually could not. Hey, the music's restarting again. That's Winamp right there, playing repeat. But yeah, Jeff had a last-minute cancellation, so he won't be on. But I do want to say congratulations to Jeff for getting 4th at MLG Dallas. Went there saying he was going to make a point, and I think he did that for getting 4th. So, now with going ahead and introducing everyone else, we've got Liquid Tyler from Team Liquid. How's it going, Tyler?
Yo, what's up, man? Just chilling out.
And chewing stride gum.
Chewing stride gum, yeah.
We've got Sean, Day 9 Plots. Sean, how's it going, man? How was your fun day Monday on Tuesday?
Well, it was okay. Not like.
Are you pulling a nanny while on me?
Well, it's okay. I did a show. It was standard. End of interview. That's all he had to say.
That's all, man. That's all. So,
man, Wheat and I were howling with laughter during that interview. I gotta let you know that.
Rounding out the cast is Greg IdrA Fields from Team Evil Geniuses. Greg, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. Got back yesterday, recuperating.
That is also Machine there behind him. He might join the cast at random. Who really knows how it's all going to go? But before we get started with the topics, I do want to wish Artosis a happy birthday. I'm wearing his guinea pig shirt, as you can see. This is one of the weirdest shirts that Handsome Nerd has. It's just a guinea pig with a beret on. But I know he was, I think he might still be listening, so Artosis, if you're out there, happy birthday, man. Let's go ahead and jump straight to the topics, the first one being MLG Dallas. Everyone knows what went on this past weekend with the stream and knows kind of how it went down. I want to get your guys' thoughts on the entire thing and just what you think about it. So, Tyler, start things off.
Well, I mean, as a person who was there, I didn't get to experience the stream problems firsthand. It's only what I heard, but it seems like a really difficult situation for MLG because, as far as I know, the main problem they were having was the internet of the venue, and there's no way. It seems to me there's like no way for them to like test that until they get like thousands of people inside their venue and all their streams running, all these games playing and all that. There's no way to test it beforehand, and they're not really responsible for the venue's internet. Of course, they pick the venues, but you know, what can you do? So it seemed to me like kind of a very difficult situation for MLG to be in. Like, I don't know how you fix that. How you guarantee that it never happens.
Yeah.
I want to even double emphasize that like anything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Like even up to where like
really?
Naniwa's mouse would not work, and they were like quickly get another computer. There was like some kid in the middle of his mouse that just like smacked him in the head and like ripped the computer away. Went on stage, put it up there, and Naniwa plugged his mouse into that, and didn't work.
We switched 4 PCs, 3 PCs, or some absurd.
So we keep going on stage, and there's like a different set of 2 people there, like hooking up a computer, and you know we were like, oh, it's this left-handed mouse cable, and Wheat and I have been talking for like 30 minutes
about the mouse cable, and that's probably
yeah, and it was funny the whole 30 minutes. So that kind of stinks. Yeah, I actually don't know exactly what was up with the internet, but I mean, it's one of those. I definitely know it's unfortunate that MLG had way more hits for their site than they would have wanted, which is like a good problem to have. You want to have like a hugely popular tournament, but you know,
not so huge that it just crashes everything.
Yeah, but I mean, to be positive, because there are so many more MLGs going on this year and other events going on this year, I hope that everyone is aware now of how absolutely unbelievably fragile it is, and to like take all those necessary precautions. Because let me tell you something, like that countdown party that I did with you, JP, like that was like a small scale thing. It was just going to get streamed over the internet, and we had like Harvey Mudd internet, which was like 100 down, 100 up. It was like absurdly good, really stable. And it was like only 500 people. Everything was planned and pre-recorded in advance for most of the community segments. And even then, that was very nearly the most epic disaster of my entire life. And then, honestly, every time I show up to an MLG and just look around, I just get this
Get really stressed out and nervous.
Post-traumatic stress, which is accidentally unplugged my headphones. But yeah, so it definitely sucks because it's not like the MLG guys don't care.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of guys staying up all night on at Saturday night, sleeping on cots there, guzzling that Nas.
No. The worst part, so we go to sleep. We leave the venue on Friday. Myself, Sean, and a lot of the other production guys at 1:30 or midnight or something like that. I forget. And Lee and his networking team. He's one of the senior vice presidents. They're like, well, we're just gonna have to work on through the night. So we come in the next morning about 9 o'clock. I walk in and there's 8 chairs back to back, 2 by 2, and that was Lee's bed for 20 minutes that night because he was up all night working on shit. So it's not like they weren't trying to fix everything. They were up. I think he was up for 72 hours or some shit trying to figure it all out. And also the other thing, I think Sundance should really be applauded for the fact that he's been everywhere possible, apologizing to the community, being really, really transparent with everyone, and not just saying, well, this was a bad event and everything messed up. He's going into really specific details. You can go check all that out. I think he had a letter over on Team Liquid or over on MLG Pro, then there's a thread on Team Liquid where he was responding to people as well. All weekend long he was responding on his Twitter. So he was probably one of the most hurt by all of this. I would randomly look over to him and he would just kind of have his head in his hands and just be distraught because of how upset he was. And it's really nothing that could have been planned for all this. I think Tyler spoke to that pretty well. But
yeah, I almost felt like he was taking too much responsibility for it in some of the things he said. Because as far as I know, it was kind of an act of God kind of thing with the venue's internet. So
yeah.
It doesn't seem like MLG really gets that much responsibility for it, but he's been taking a lot of heat and
but
really well.
I still like that attitude.
Oh yeah,
Sundance.
it's really cool.
Because one of those things where it's I don't know the exact details, but it's like a moose trampled a router that was 40 miles away or something like Freak of Godish that ended up getting in the way, and it's one of those things where I like that their attitude is still, but we got to do everything we can to make sure that it works. Because I mean, it doesn't matter if there's 40 mooses at next event. It's wow, it's so improbable. you got to account for the 40 mooses, The
other thing too is that Sundance and a lot of the other MLG team would go on Team Liquid and read every single post. And I'm just you guys need to stop.
That's never a good idea.
You cannot do that, or you're just going to be
getting up at 2 in the morning in a panic and being and let me see if any of my ex-girlfriends are dating new people that they liked more than me.
Yeah, so
don't do it, man.
They were trying to figure. They were just trying to figure out how the community was responding to this, what the community actually thought. And I was just look, everyone's going to be pissed off no matter what you do because it's the internet. Just stop reading that. Say you're going to fix it. And that's pretty much what they did, but they did go a little bit farther. I know that they've been pushing out almost all the replays from the event, I think, are now available. The VODs, I think, are going to be available this week. They've been rebroadcasting the broadcast from the weekend. They might still be doing that over at MLG TV, but they're trying, guys. A lot of it was out of their hands. They're trying their hardest to rectify all that. Greg, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I think it's pretty impressive the way they handled it. It was just a shitty situation.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next thing, something more positive. Naniwal won the entire event, very convincingly too, going 25-2. And Tyler, I just wanted to, since you are the resident Protoss player here, what does that mean to you? What does that say to you with a Protoss going 25-2? And you have to use more than 3 words. You can't pull Naniwal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I gotta say, I haven't seen any of his games. I played him twice, so that counts. I know what happened in 2 of his games.
Way to go, resident Protoss.
But, I mean, he was my horse going into the event. When I looked at the open bracket, I was like, Naniwa, he's one of the guys that I think will make it through. And then once he makes it through, you know, he's going to attack whatever group he gets into, and that's exactly what he did. I didn't think he was going to win it, and like as convincingly as he did, at least as the record shows. I haven't seen the games yet, but he's a pretty solid player right now. I wouldn't say he's like elevated himself to some untouchable level because of the record that he had at this event. That's just a little bit of coincidence, I think. But he's one of the top players now, and I would say he might be the best Protoss in Europe. You know, it's hard to say with White Raw. And
White Raw, what are you, crazy? Even if White Raw hasn't won a game in a year, he's still the best Protoss in Europe.
Yeah. White Raw has so many fans and everybody loves him, and I can't blame him for that. But I think Naniwa is playing really well, so I got to check out those reps. But yeah, it's something I saw coming, and now he's got 1 billion American fans from his MLG performance, so hopefully he'll come back to every MLG. I think that's what MLG really needs, is for the good players to keep coming back, come to every single event. So let's see him at Columbus and see how he does there.
It was pretty funny because last week someone was saying in the podcast that I was like, do we need to mention Naniwa at all? Is he going to be a factor in this tournament? And then he goes on to win the entire thing very convincingly. Sean, what are your thoughts on Naniwa? He casted the majority of his games on Sunday.
Yeah, there's two things I really liked about Naniwa. Number one, he's like really safe, and I don't mean like, you know, like I'm gonna go forge cannon because I'm a safe player. Like he would like take early probes and always scout the edge of like everything. Like I think my favorite example of that was on Shattered Temple, where he spawned at the left position, so that means that his opponent can only be at right and bottom, and he goes to the gold at top left to check for proxy. And I'm like, oh, that's actually, not only is that a smart place to check, but that's also a really smart place to proxy. Like, that's so rarely scouted. And by doing that in every game, that kind of gave me that, oh, now I can kind of see why he managed to go undefeated in the open bracket, where I'm sure a lot of people tried to cheese him, but just had to spot down almost everything. And also his builds were very clearly really practiced builds. You know, a lot of players, I even think some of the players who got into like top 32 at MLG, like players of that caliber, kind of have this, okay, I'm going to do exactly this, and this, and this, and this, and then I'll just get some Colossi and a bunch of fucking gateways, so I'll just kill them. You know, there's this point where they're kind of like, I kind of know what I got to do, so let me just do that. But there was consistent refinement throughout, where I saw this, wow, he's at like 80 food and still like saving chrono boosts and then using them down to 0 to get really nice timings to line up. And that was very exciting to see. I mean, even though his game versus Select, his first game on Shakura's Plateau, was kind of silly, because Select went like, you know, barracks, gas, command center, bunker, bunker, bunker. But even then, like, just looking at Naniwa's play, even if Naniwa was playing against like a computer, it would just be this beautiful, flawless-looking build. So I was really a treat to watch him play.
IdrA, did you watch any of the games from the crowd?
I think I watched most of the grand finals, like, distractedly. He was clearly better than Kiwi. I don't know, it's hard to not... Oh, I heard he 4-gated Machine twice. I heard about that a lot. So...
There's Machine.
So yeah, there's that. I don't know, I just kind of got the impression that he was the most solid Protoss, and a Protoss was going to win the event, so it was him.
All right, so I'm not really sure how to throw to this, but IdrA, you played Huck twice at MLG. Talk to me about those games.
And you won both of those series convincingly, actually.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, you want to...
Greg, why did you leave on Metalopolis, man?
What was the thought process there, man?
What the hell?
He opened 5-gate. I got lucky as hell finding the pylon, so he cancels it and expands. Now, he was doing a build that would have killed me had I not gotten lucky. I do get lucky, and he ends up in perfectly fine shape. And then all game he does absolutely nothing, whereas I'm dropping all over, I'm trying to counter, I'm bungling his army, I'm doing everything I possibly can, and I can't do jack shit to him. And so basically I'm just getting more and more frustrated as the game goes on. And then, all of a sudden, when I think I finally have him won, I have this big army, and he was broke, so he should have no units. A bunch of Void Rays pop out. And you can ask any Zerg, there's plenty of situations where you have a Broodlord army, and they've been accumulating Void Rays, and all of a sudden they pop out and just wreck your shit. So I see that, and I'm like, really? It's that bad?
So he won by doing nothing.
Dude, let me tell you something.
Yes.
Greg, that
Just
game
like
was actually,
Rat, right?
Yep.
From the observer's perspective, like, that game was actually a lot closer at the start than I think, like, it should have been. And then all those things that you were doing where you get more frustrated, you were actually getting ahead. Every single time you're doing one of things, it's like, and then at that final battle, that was the most ahead that you were all game long. You got to give yourself more credit. You left, and you had such a big army. You could have attacked and just won. Greg!
You made DJ Wheat cry in his pillow that night, Greg.
Dude,
Yes, I know.
He was vomiting blood right there on stage. He was like, "Oh my god!" He's like puking or like freaking out, trying to clean him up between.
The 3-0 next day was all for DJ Wheat. It was.
But dude, okay, I just actually want to say, you say you were feeling frustrated. Every single attack that you did was like helping you so much. I'm not even saying this trying to be good. I saw the game.
Even landed.
Dude, you fucked him up with those drops where he just killed all of them. Like, seriously, he was like so pulled back. And the fact is that, like,
but the thing is, Protoss never really has to attack, so being pulled back isn't a bad thing as long as you don't take damage.
with the exception of that left expansion, because like there was literally no way he could have really secured that main, like, ever.
That's
because you were just drop harassing like crazy.
If he had managed to hold on to the gold, I don't think he would have needed it, though. Because, like...
He wasn't holding on to the gold, you're crazy. How did he hold on to the gold?
Oh, no, I killed it with Broodlords. That was the one successful attack.
Yeah.
No, I was winning. It was silly to leave like that, but... ZVP is stressful.
That's the noise of the hallucinations when they spawn, I think. But
Yeah.
Summon Void Rays. Where's he gone?
when did you learn that those were actually hallucinations? Was it between...
When he messaged me.
Okay, so he messaged you in between the games or something, or are you talking about in-game?
The chat at the beginning of the third game.
Okay, alright. Well, everyone solves that, knows what that's about. I don't think we need to comment on that much. Tyler, how about you, man? How was your MLG?
I don't know, man. It was just a really, really bad performance for me, and I'm trying to figure out what I can do to prevent that in the future. But I was just saying in the pregame, of course we didn't have audio, so no one heard it, but I was playing the best StarCraft 2 of my life. Like last week, coming into MLG, I have some really solid builds that I'm happy with, that I think are good, and I just streamed 10 games right before this show, and I won them all. Of course, they're against noobs on the ladder, but you know, I'm feeling good. But every single match, every single match, yeah, check my match history. Every single match at MLG, like I just played bad, and it was like during the game, I knew I was doing the wrong things, and like I was just like perplexed, like why is it just not clicking, and why am I not playing well? So I at least have the comfort of knowing that I didn't play my best and get totally owned. I pretty much played my absolute worst and kind of did okay. I at least secured a top 16 seed for Columbus, but it's unacceptable performance. I just need to figure out a way to play my best at MLG. I think it's something to do with the fact that, like, I feel more, I don't know, it seems a little bit hectic. It was hard for me to focus on the fact that I actually have to do a competition that weekend, because there's like stuff with the sponsor, a meeting with my team, all the fans and stuff, which, like, it's not an excuse, but it's just something me personally, like, I just need everything, my whole like situation to be perfect so that I can just play my best. And when I'm like slightly out of my comfort zone, everything goes to shit. And so I just need to be like perfectly prepared.
Well, there's two things I want to say to follow that up. First of all, that feeling of your hands not quite doing what you want them to do is, like, I think the worst feeling in the whole world.
It's almost as frustrating as UVP.
Oh, look, you shouldn't have left the game. You were winning. God, I hate that feeling where you're like, I need to click really fast right now, and you're like, ugh, slow molasses hand. It's like the StarCraft 2 equivalent of being unable to get it up, but like way worse. Way, like, gigantically worse. There's money on the line in this case. Like, but there's this great book, The Art of Learning, where he talks about the idea of, like, creating a ritual for having, like, some sort of focus, where it was about this, the section in the book is about this guy who was having a really hard time staying calm and focused in meetings. So the advice that he got was he was going to play ball with his kid. He was going to, like, throw the ball around because that made him really happy and relaxed. He was going to, like, eat a yogurt and a banana. I don't remember what, like, the food mix was, but it was like eat exactly a yogurt and a banana, and that's it. And then listen to this one song every time you go there. And what happened is, over time, he was able to, by doing that every single time, he started to feel more relaxed. Actually, the first time he felt good, but, like, so he continued to do this ritual, but he didn't have an hour before every big major meeting. So then so the first thing he did was cut out the quality time with his kid. And then, you know, slowly...
Nice.
Sorry, go.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Maybe I'm not telling the story right, but, like, eventually he got to the point where he cut everything out to the point where he only had to think about the song in his head to be able to, like, force himself into the zone. Because I actually listen to, like, the same 2 songs before, like, every match now, and have for, like, 5 years.
So there you go, Tyler. Got to get into a ritual.
And now I don't even play StarCraft 2 anymore. Because I'm just cutting things out. But, like, that... Because that's, like, the scariest curse to go to term. Your hands just, like, don't fucking do what you want to do.
Yeah.
So that... So
MLG is pretty hard to get in the zone too, especially with the scheduling and the last, because like we played 1-2 matches on the second day and then had to play God knows how many right in a row on the third day. Like I had that match for Suck up on stage, and literally 5 minutes later I got called down to play TLO. That's not a good situation to play in.
Talk to me about that TLO game, Greg, because a lot of people I don't think we broadcasted the replays from that, but talk to me about the match.
Yeah, it was literally immediately after the match for Huck, and I was very focused on that match for Huck. And then I win, and I'm like, I won. And then all of a sudden I would go play TLO. And the first map was Crossfire, which is awful ZVT. That was my veto every other match in the tournament. So that's bad. Then he goes double command center before barracks, into mech, and... It's just like, and I had gone Speedling because 2-Rex is really strong on there too. So it's just like, that was terrible. And then his Hellions, I mess up, I let his Hellions kill a bunch of drones and I go all in and it fails. And then on Meta, he proxied 2 barracks between my base, like that position Sean was talking about that Naniwa scouted, the equivalent of that on Meta. He proxied 2 barracks there, and it just kills me. So that's the series.
It's too bad. All I know is that we were all excited for you beating Huck 3-0, and then like 10 minutes later, we look at Twitter and we see Greg eliminated by TLO. We're just like, what the fuck just happened?
I don't know. I wasn't even mad about it. Like, still on the come down from the match versus Huck, and the games were so silly. I was just like, oh, well, I'm out.
So, Sean, what was your favorite MLG Dallas story from the entire weekend, if you can think about one singular story?
I mean... other than the hallucinated void ray thing, which, by the way, I am completely entitled to tease you as much as I like because you ended up winning the series.
Yeah, that is reasonably fair.
I think you understand, but if you lost the series, I would be very reverent. I'd be like, ooh. Best story from the series.
Here, you can think about that. I've got one that actually involves you. So we're casting Destiny versus Response. This was the map, I forget, maybe it was the test bug map or something like that. And I start commenting on the supply count of Destiny, and I go, Destiny's got 69 supply, and I just start laughing because Sean do this.
Because I immediately do that to JP. I'm like, oh, like JP.
That's what I'm laughing at, not the fact that I just said 69 on air. And then I get home and I read all the comments, and people are like, JP is so immature. He's laughing at 69. That was probably the best moment for me. Do you think of anything, Sean?
I mean, honestly, just trying to like make you laugh as much as possible was great. I actually loved when the camera was on before the stream, like where they're just like doing camera check, and someone's like, "Oh, hey, what's up, guys?" Like, "Are we live?" And someone posts like, "Yeah," and I just like wrap my arm around your neck and just go,
Yeah.
like, you were like, oh, I was like, yeah.
That was
like,
pretty
wave to
bad.
everyone.
That
And
was
also
pretty bad.
reading about the cat trying to cross the stream. That was like...
that was a good Sunday morning opener, for sure, because how funny it was. I'm trying to think of some of the other funny stuff that happened that people... Oh,
The Greater Spire. You mentioned Destiny. Didn't the Greater Spire die because it was off creep or something?
yep, you
Yeah.
can go check out
I didn't
that,
actually see that, but I heard about it.
There's a YouTube recording of it already, I think, that you can go check out. That was pretty funny. Also, the fact that I was black for some reason at the end of the day on Sunday.
Oh, that was great. I was like, I'm up to the stage with JP, and then I looked like 2 feet to my left, and JP's standing right there. He's like, I'm not on the stage. And like Farouk up there is on the stage, and he's like looking up, and I'm like, and I was like, you gotta thank JP on the main stage. And we come back, he's like, big thanks to Farouk on the main stage. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Dude, I think I also want to note that I think I misspoke more than I've ever misspoke ever during the cast at MLG, because it's one of those things where, like, when you're casting, for me, I kind of have I know what I want to say, and I just kind of let my mouth just like do whatever. It'll just say it. So, you know, if I want to say, like, JP is blocking his ramp with 4 fields to prevent Greg from getting up, a lot of times I'll mess up the ordering. I'm like, force fields are being thrown down by JP to prevent Greg from getting up. And, like, I meant to say Terrence should not attack here because Protoss had an army that was, like, 4 times as big as he should. That was actually in Kiwikaki vs. Select. I was like, oh, Protoss should not engage here. And Protoss rolls over this with, like, a maxed army left over. I was like, there's no way to save it. Just keep going. I did that, like, 50 times this weekend, so that was great. Can't correct yourself, man. You got to run with it.
Yep, that's one of the things I learned very early on. Greg, what was your favorite story from the weekend?
3-0ing Huck.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Tyler, we're talking about favorite MLG Dallas stories. What's yours?
Oh.
He's like, fuck that weekend, man. I was so emo.
Yeah, the greatest part of the weekend for me was just being in Dallas and not playing StarCraft, because, like, being from Texas, I have a lot of friends in Dallas, so
okay.
I met up with them. So that was my glorious storyline, was getting to hang out with my friends and immediately forget about StarCraft.
Oh, I forgot about my favorite moment from MLG. This is like the greatest moment, is when, like, we didn't know when we were going to be casting, because they were trying to, like, you know, this is when, like, a nuke was pointed at the convention center for some reason, and Lee's, like, trying to build a nuke shield and stuff. And Tristan is about to play his game, because for any of you who didn't know, like, the Tristan I always talk about in the daily was there. He, like, came out, so I was hanging out with Tristan, and he had to play against Zelnik, and I went into his game. I'm like, I have to observe this game, because I was under MLG caps, right? So they're like, oh, okay, all right, cool. So I think I was like, I accidentally, I stepped away for 2 seconds, and a tech guy came over and, like, tabbed the game, caused, like, a huge lag spike, like, kept back, it's like, pause. It's okay, it was at, like, the 30-second mark, but Tristan does, like, the most cheesy thing in the world. He does the 3-gate, expand, build a 4th warp gate, wait till the Nexus is at 99% and cancel it and go all in. And it worked, and he beat Zelnik in game 1. I was like, yeah! Like, screaming at the casting booth. It was so awesome. Like, yeah, Tristan, he lost the next 2, but, man, yeah, that was, like, the greatest moment of my entire life, because it's like, if I have to play in a tournament, I'm just like, all right, I can do this. Trust myself. But if, like, someone I actually care about is playing, it just, like, freaks me out. Like, anytime Nick's been in a tournament, I just, like, can't handle it, man.
So
it's
he
like
just
too
said
much.
that he doesn't care about any of the actual StarCraft players, is what Sean said.
Yeah, that's right. If you guys lose, I just go LOL and do, oh, hallucination.
Hey, I thought of a story, though. Not much of a story, but a little tidbit.
All right, let's hear it.
So everyone knows TLO is sponsored by Sony Ericsson.
Yep.
And when his autograph signing session was on, like, he has to sit at the Sony Ericsson booth, sign autographs for 30 minutes. He had, like, a long-ass line, and those Halo players that were sitting next to him
Please tell me I know.
Yes!
That's so good
had
to hear.
nobody, man. So, thanks for representing all the StarCraft fans coming to Dallas, getting TLO's autograph. Even if you don't like the player, like, I'm going to do that with Stride at some point, and Kiwikaki's going to do it with Dr. Pepper. just come get our autograph because you're fans of StarCraft. You can throw it away if you want, but just come represent.
I will say that's the one thing I really didn't like about MLG Dallas is that I did not really have a good opportunity to just go out and say hi to all the people who came there.
Yeah, we were always behind the magical curtain.
Well, and also there was that, like, normally it'd be like, okay, now there's a caster break. It was like, guys, stay here because we don't know what's going to happen with the stream. and it was like, okay, no, we're going, and 5, 4, 3, and I'm like, like wiping the Twinkie off my mouth.
The best part, too, is when we
God.
tricked you with that, like, 7 times.
Oh, God, that was horrible, like, seriously, because, so, I mentioned on air that I like Twinkies, and...
Those are still in the hotel room, by the way, when I left on...
Yeah, I couldn't fit them. Like, okay, so this guy comes up to me, he's like, I have a present for you. It's like wrapped. I'm like, I'm so sorry, they need me backstage. I'm like, run around like a chicken with the head cut off, and he's like, I think you're gonna like it. And I take it, I like run backstage, and then I look, and it's 50 Twinkies. Like 50 Twinkies. And then like in the middle, like one of the tourney admins just comes back, he's like, Jay, this is from a fan, just hands me 2, 3 packs of Twinkies. And then I go out, another group gives me 60 Twinkies with a note. I had so many Twinkies, and I ate like 15 of them. They were all really good. Cause I
grabbed
was
like 2 before I left the room, but I didn't.
Oh,
they were just sitting there in the box. I wonder what.
I was gonna fill them up in the bathtub and like do one of those like vanity poses where I'm just like naked and there's like Twinkies covering my privates. You know, like thanks to all my fans.
So there's no way of getting out of that, but. What can MLG really do better moving forward? Obviously, the stream is probably one of the main things, but is there something that as players that you guys think could be fixed for Columbus? We'll start with IdrA first.
I already kind of mentioned it, but the scheduling I thought was pretty terrible. I assume it was because of the way they ran the open bracket or something, but for the people in the pool play, we played our first 4 matches the first night, and then we played 1 match the second day. There was just only the 1 match. We just had to play the person who came to our group through the open bracket. And then we played the entire championship bracket the next day, which was pretty awful. And a big part of it was because of the streaming issues. We all got there at like noon, and then we had to play our 1 match at 8 at night, which is pretty bad. Yeah. But no, just jamming all of the matches into 2 days when you have 3 of them, it's not good. Having to play that many matches in a row, it makes for poor gameplay, and it's just uncomfortable, and it's not as good for the viewers, I don't think, because all the time fillers on the second day, those were mostly lower quality matches. People want to watch the people in the group play. I think they can. There must be a better solution than what they did there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of kind of to speak to that, the fact that there were so many time delays or whatever really throws the schedule off. I mean, the schedule is so it's I think 1 hour for each match, and if that gets behind by any little bit, then the tournament admins are just going to try to run that as fast as possible. So that's probably why you're constantly having to go back and forth between the matches. But
well, also I know that MLG started the matches in the evening on Friday. I mean, I know that like kids don't get out of school and people don't get out of work till 5, so that makes sense. But I think that there's nothing wrong with doing that because I mean it'll allow you to focus more on the action-packed games throughout the weekend.
It's true. It's true. Tyler, what can MLG do better for Columbus, from your point of view?
I mean, I guess just the scheduling, but it's going to fall behind, but I wish there was a better way for them to like communicate what the revised schedule is. Because it's
True,
sitting
yeah.
around not knowing when you're going to play.
Yeah.
It's like you have, I think, like my match was scheduled for 6 o'clock on Saturday. And so, I want to get there, maybe 5 o'clock, try to get some warm-up in, plan to play at 6, and maybe plan to go to dinner at like 8, and then go to sleep. And it's like, I get there, and, I want to eat dinner after, so I'm kind of getting hungry. If it gets delayed, then I'm getting starving. And then I'm just sitting around, it's delayed. I can't eat. I warmed up like an hour ago, and then finally I got to like sit down and play. Immediately. Yeah. Like when you do have to play, the refs are like, okay, you got to play now, we're behind schedule, play right now. And it's like a rush.
Yeah, I mean
and it's a mess. Like I wish there was a smoother way for them to revise it, because I know that the delays are kind of inevitable. If I could just know when I'm going to play, that would be excellent.
Yeah.
I wonder how hard it would be to implement like like at the airport, how they have like the arrival departure monitors.
They have something like that actually, but it was only where. Well, no, that had times on it, right, Tyler and Greg? You guys know what the monitors that were turned to their sides or whatever.
They had schedules up and posted. I thought it was like a whiteboard or something. It could have been monitors, but they weren't very accurate. They weren't very accurate at all. Not updated quickly.
Yeah, I wonder who was manning those, because they probably could have been updated a little bit better. Sean, from your point of view, is there anything that you want better?
The arrival departure monitors that apparently already exist, those could be spruced up. I would like a couple more like highlight type stuff where, you know, there was like I remember it was like a stage where there's like the 4 monitors facing outward so people could watch. I don't think that there would be anything bad about having a couple extra monitors in the main tournament playing area, just sort of like holding just like a clone feed of someone's computer.
Oh, okay.
So that you can just sort of look and see, because it was basically people clustering around the edges trying to see them.
Yeah.
And then like a huge monitor overhead for just 2 of the matches. Yeah, I mean, and also it seemed like there was just the problem without having a really clear schedule of like what's going on is like it hurts for the players and the observers too, because it would be so cool again if there was, you know, the airport style arrival departure, if it was like station 3, you know, Tyler versus so and so played at this time, like warm up at this time, play at this time.
Yeah, I mean,
and then I could sort of look and plan around, and be like, oh, I'm going to eat lunch now because I want to come back and watch that other match. Again, it was sort of impossible because there was the moose took the router out.
Took the router out, yeah. That's actually the real truth. No one knows that there's just a moose rampaging there in the back that we had chained up for the rest of the event. Biggest thing for me, I think, is the fact that the crowd could not hear the casters. Everyone that goes to those events wants to hear Day 9 talk. I mean, that's a simple truth. And the fact that we had to mute it once, it was kind of funny because as soon as you go in game, we have to basically turn down the sound of whoever's casting because we're going to be like, so-and-so spawning here at the 9 o'clock position. So the immediate second that you walk in, like you just have to turn it down.
How much did you hear about that commentary?
It was awful. I heard Void Ray, or no, I heard Stargate, Second Gate, Nexus, for Void Ray. And he said that in the second game he could hear, like, whenever I built an expansion and I was going for drops and stuff. We heard it was massive.
That's in the
the
sock game on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and you know what's interesting is that when you can hear what someone's doing, it personally messes up my play more than it helps my play.
Because you start factoring it all in, seeing if you have to like change it or whatnot.
Well, it's because like if you're good, you've thought about the ways that you want to respond to everything. You know, it's one of those things, you know, where I'm sure you know, Greg, where you're like, now's about the time I need to get an Overseer if I get the sense that he's going Dark Templar. And then you hear, like, Dark Templar on there, and you have this urge to abandon the timing that you've already planned. You're just like, well, I'm just going to rush for Overseers just in case. Because I heard what he's doing, but then as it turns out, he like canceled it, and you messed yourself up, and then you're hearing more, and it's distracting you from just you executing, and it's the worst.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. That actually happened to me, but it worked out well in the Zelnaga game. Because generally, even if they go Void Ray, you don't want to go Hydra, just because Hydras are really bad. You just want to hold it off with Queens and Spores until you can get to Spire, and going Roaches and stuff. But I heard Void Ray, and I was like, shit, he's going Void Rays. He's going Void Rays off one base. I better get to Hydras. And he ended up doing this kind of weird Void Ray assisted all-in that I wasn't really used to. And so the Hydras worked out well, but yeah, that's what happened.
And the last thing that I want to talk about from MLG Dallas was, what did you guys think of the new tournament format? My opinions on it, and this is purely from just talking to all the players, there was a point that was brought up to me that Machine went, let me make sure I have the right actual score. In group play, Machine goes 1-3. He ends up getting 15th place. LZ Gamer goes 9-2 from Open, and he gets 25th. Is that, I mean, that just seems kind of weird to me.
You know, Greg, go ahead. I'll get water.
You have to factor in the opponents they played. Like, he plays against Tyler and I don't know who else was in your group, but it's all the people who got seeded last season, pretty much the best players in the tournament. whereas LZ Gamer goes through, and yeah, he beat some good people. He beat DDE, who's pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
but he also has a lot of fluff going through there, so you have to take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, the bracket, it's just such a massive advantage it gives the seeded players. And I mean, they're trying to protect the pro players. It's an investment for them.
Yeah.
But it's a dirty way to do it. It's not fair for the open players.
Right. What a Sean! Sean, what was that?
Hold on, I'm getting back. I'm getting my water. There we go. Yes, see, okay, so I don't think it's like a healthy way to favor the pro players. I think it's first of all, I like kind of the way the championship bracket works.
Mm-hmm.
I like that a lot. I like this idea that there is some group stage play where every single game kind of counts a lot. Because that always sucks when it's like top 2 advance, bottom 2 don't. And there's like kind of a situation where, yeah, this guy doesn't really need a win. Every single game's important, and the more games you win, the farther down the bracket you are. And I kind of like the way the losers bracket looked, where it was like 4 games, 4 games, 4 games, 4 games. I thought that was pretty cool. And what I do like about the current tournament format is it makes the MLG rank points, which quite frankly were just completely useless last, like literally, yeah, like number 1 ranks Kikaki against the unknown Fnatic MSI TT1. You know, it's like
Right.
now it's like, holy shit, I'm out of the tournament, but if I can battle for 15th place over 16th place, I'll get another rank point, which will help me so much. So I do kind of like that, but what concerns me is that with the no doubt explosive growth of MLG. I mean, part of the whole problem that MLG struggled this weekend is because it was so popular the first day. That
Record numbers throughout the entire weekend, I think, is what MLG Pro was saying. So.
Yeah, like, okay, so that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
That good problem is going to extend to the open bracket format, where it's basically going to mean that, you know, you have your 16 invited seeds, and then you're going to have 40,000 open bracket players. And I don't know exactly how that's going to work out, whether they're just going to scale the MLG rank points up and such, but I don't actually mind it so much, because I think that one thing that tournaments do need is more opportunities for the same players to show their face again. Because it personally has been bugging me, kind of, where it's like, we've invited all the top pros. And in this tournament, White Raw's going to win. In that tournament, Sen's going to win. In this tournament, this other guy's going to win. And it's different every single tournament. Like, the top 8 of most major, like, online events have been 8 completely different people. Like, it's a completely disjointed sets. And that's very frustrating as an observer when you're like, I want to see my player go through. It's kind of nice to have that, like, cushion where, you know, you really got to mess up twice as a pro to get bumped down. So in that sense, I don't mind it too much. I like the idea that there's a sort of fringe where a lot of people are scraping for those 16th to 12th place spots. So in that sense, I don't mind it too much. But I mean, any tournament format's going to have its own flaws and faults.
Right. I kind of like it, because let's say you're not in the top 16 right now, then your goal at a MLG is just to get in the top 16, pretty much, and that's not that difficult of a goal. Okay, so.
And I also want to add that there's the online tournaments and stuff where you can get MLG rank points, so it encourages more people to participate.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, throw out 16 really, really good players, and then you're in an open tournament without those 16 good players, and then you need to, I mean, you know, do whatever you need to do to get into the top 16. It's not the most difficult thing in the world, and because there's so many MLGs, and I think there are a lot of MLGs, like 5 a year plus the national championship, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
That's like a lot of tournaments. So, I mean, if someone is like, you know, up and coming, and they're like, you know, I want to be a premier MLG player, you know, a regular top 8 MLG player, then I think they got to think a little more long term. Like, you know, within 2 years, I'm going to be regularly in the top 8 of MLG. Well, then that means they have 10 chances to try to get into the top 16. Like, that's a lot. If you're actually that good, then you're going to get through eventually. I think people just need to think a little more long term. That's all they're thinking about is one tournament, and yeah, people are gonna get screwed over in just one instance. But we got to think about this as people coming to every single event, and if people actually, go to every single event, then I think it's an excellent format. There's problems with that, of course, like things clash. You got to prioritize something over MLG.
Right,
you're from Europe, so it's super expensive to go to every event. Or you're from America and you haven't proven yourself yet, and so you don't have a sponsor that will send you to every single event. There are some problems, but I think it's kind of okay. It's not perfect, but I kind of like it. I don't think the problems are really ruining it. So anyone who's not in the top 16 right now, I think, just think more long term. Think next 2 years. You can do it. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. I almost dropped out, so this was like on my mind. I was like, gotta reconfigure my goals, but I stayed in.
It will get better down the road as the top 16 kind of like filters out. That GSL had that problem too, where because it's just like you do want that core of really good players who can kind of represent your tournament, and that people can get behind. That really, they're good players. You want them to be competing for you, but the problem is determining who those are for the first round of seeding. And yeah, we had the 3 tournaments last year, but probably was a long time ago.
Yeah.
DC was a pretty long time ago, and not everyone was able to go to that. But down the road, we play more tournaments. The points will kind of sort out. It'll be just like GSL, where slowly the really bad players are dropping out of Code S, and it's getting more standardized. And it'll be good then, I think.
Yeah, I think one of the main things that MLG wants to do is factor in the online tournaments between events, so that going into an event, since there's so much time between, that the top people stay at the top, and the people that aren't deserving to be in the top 16 somehow get filtered out, kind of like what you're just speaking to, IdrA. So we'll have to see if they have any initiations for that between now and Columbus. Throughout the show, I'm going to be pulling questions from Twitter. So if you have Twitter, just at @itmejp. One of the questions, I actually didn't think about this, but I want to know for Tyler and IdrA. SDK asked, can you ask them how they felt about the main stages with Halo right next to StarCraft? Was it distracting at all to hear the Halo?
No, I wasn't aware of it all when I played on stage. The only problem I had with stage is obviously the soundproofing, lack of booths.
Okay. Well, I think that's gonna do it for MLG Dallas. Again, congrats to Jeff on getting 4th. I'm sure we'll hear from him next week. But let's go ahead and move on and talk about TSL3. Round of 16 is going to be starting up again this weekend and also next weekend. And Tyler, you're going to kick off on Saturday going up against Thorzane. Are you ready for this match, man? Thorzane was very, very strong in the round of 32.
Yeah, I feel like I'm ready. I hope my fans don't get worried because of my MLG performance. I'll be playing from the comfort of my own home.
With IPA in hand.
Yeah.
And a stride in the other.
Yeah. No, I think, and it's going to be a best of 5, and I think Thorzane will probably throw in a couple of surprises for me. And I don't know what those are going to be, but I'm coming in with a pretty solid game plan. So I think I'm going to take the best of 3. Whether or not it's going to be like a dominant performance, I don't know. But yeah, I feel ready. And he played well against Fruit Dealer, but it's not like he was all of a sudden like the best Terran in the world.
Did he fall victim to the caster's hype curse at all, you think?
Maybe he did. Maybe he did. But yeah, I feel good going into these matches, and I'm excited for him. So
I'm excited for him. Yeah, I'm casting this weekend. I'm casting all of them matches.
Yeah, I think you get the
every single one.
I was gonna say you get the
both days.
Both days, nice.
Both days.
Oh, you are? I guess this is wrong then on Team Liquid. It says Chill and Husky for Sunday.
Huh? I thought I was doing double time this weekend.
It says cast by Chill and Day 9 on Saturday, and Sunday is Chill and Husky.
Should be Day 9 and Husky.
Can I get a know you're listening right now? Fix this.
Can I get?
Well, are you kidding me? Worst case scenario is that it is Chill and Husky casting, and then I'm just gonna sit with a brew and my bros.
But I think I think I'm the first game on Saturday, right?
You are. Yep.
So day 9, you're definitely on Saturday.
Yeah.
Cast me, baby.
I'll
Cast
cast.
me real sweet.
I'll cast you nice and slow, baby.
Kenny says
What?
now that he's doing the intro, that he actually doesn't speak to you, Sean. He goes, I'm doing the intro. Tell Tyler he has more FaceTime than anyone else in the intro, so he better not fuck up.
Yes. Yes.
He doesn't mention anything to the fact of which matches Sean is going to be casting. But the second match on Saturday, White Raw versus MC, the rematch from the GSL World Championship Team League, or Winners League, I think is the correct name. That's going to be insane. Tyler, do you think White Raw can take some more games on MC and possibly come out of that victorious?
I wouldn't be surprised if White Raw takes a game, but I think MC is still the heavy favorite.
Short and sweet?
Yeah.
Sean, your face looks like it.
No, I'm going to let Greg talk because Greg hasn't gotten a chance to respond yet.
I think White Raw's going to win it.
That's what I'm talking about, Greg!
Because of the latency, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why everyone's trying to play it down. The latency it was humongous when I was there, and apparently all the stuff in Japan messed up the internet, so it's even worse now. I mean, seriously, all but a couple of the Koreans, and MC got Ciara, that barely even counts. All but a couple of the Koreans get knocked out, and people really think. No, of course it's the latency. And White Raw is very good. PvP is a matchup where latency it must have a huge effect. I can't even imagine trying to 4-gate in a 2-second delay. So no, I think White Raw will win, and I think it will be because of the latency.
This might change your mind. I just got some news from Hotbit that they are playing in Korea since both of them are in Korea.
Ooh.
MC's going to win 3-1 then.
That's my prediction as well. I didn't say the numbers, but 3-1 is what I think.
The round of 16 is best of 5?
Yep. You're casting more games than you thought.
And also, clarification, Sean, you are pulling double duty on April 16th and 17th. This weekend is chill with the double duty. Just verified from Hotbit. So there you go. There you go. So moving right along to Sunday, QXC, Adele Scott. Sean, biggest promoter of Adele Scott thus far. How's that match going to go?
Let me back up. White Raw is going to destroy OGS MC. It's going to be so funny how bad it is. And White Raw goes, this game is really good, yes. He's so... God, White Raw is my hero. I love White Raw, seriously. I ever since we had that 10-minute conversation about how, no, don't drink Coke, drink milk. Like, seriously, drink milk. It's like, it's good for my game. I repeated it like that character in The Little Prince. It was amazing. So he's going to win. It's going to be 3-0. It won't even be close. OGSMC will post some sort of Rage Ladder Time on Twitter or something like that. But QXC versus Adele Scott, both those players are so awesome, I think that they'll get 3 draws in a row. But I honestly got my money probably on Adele Scott just because I'm a real big promoter of the idea of well-timed upgrades plus basic core units instead of this, like, I'm going to rush for Void Rays and Colossus and have 3 sentries and that'll be my core unit mix. I just love his macro-oriented stuff. At the same time, I'm a real fan of QXC's, like, drop aggression, but QXC's the sort of player who said himself that if I'm tired and I'm off my game and I try to be aggressive, then I kill myself. But if he's on his game, then yeah. So I think it'll be an exciting example of, like, assuming QXC's playing, his game, like, can his style of aggression crack Adele Scott, or will Adele Scott manage to just hold down in defensive boss mode? Because the big difference between MVP and QXC is that MVP was playing those, like, well-timed builds. I'm going to build this army and attack you, which meant that Adele Scott got to do what he wanted. But QXC's really good at not letting you do what you want because he's just dropping you all the time. Pow.
Tyler, who's going to take that match?
I'm leaning toward QXC. I think, even though I love the way Adele Scott played against MVP, I think any Protoss or Terran player could look at that series and see a lot of flaws at certain points in Adele Scott's play, and at least points late game where you could see his mechanics really lacking. Some bad army positioning, some bad macro, and stuff like that. And QXC, on the other hand, he's always impressing me with how good his multitask is and how fast he can play in the late game. And so I think QXC is going to intelligently analyze the Adele Scott versus MVP series and know what he needs to do to take advantage of Adele Scott's weak points. So I think QXC is going to take it. He has what it takes. But it's not out of the realm of possibility that Adele Scott dominates QXC. I think the burden's just on QXC's shoulders to do what he needs to do. He's certainly capable of it.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with Tyler. I actually haven't seen too much of Adele, but from what I have, he plays a really cool style. I like that mass warp gate unit, lots of upgrades and stuff. But he does seem kind of one-dimensional. It's a really cool dimension, but it is abusable. And QXC has a good style to take advantage of it. If QXC gets into the late game and kind of spreads him out, which is something QXC likes to do, I think that definitely favors him.
And what about Nada Cost? IdrA, we'll just do the full circle here. Start off with you this time.
Well, I've heard Nada is actually practicing a lot now, and TVT was supposed to be his good matchup anyway. And Koss, I think he's known as a TVP player. His TVT didn't impress me. I know nothing about his TVT, so I probably shouldn't really comment, but I'd expect Nada to win.
Sean, who you got taking that match?
Probably gonna go with Nada. I mean, I think they're both good, but I mean, Nada.
It's Nada.
There you go.
Tyler?
Yeah, Nada's TVT is pretty damn good, and he was looking pretty good in his last series. So I think he's taking the TSL pretty seriously, at least seriously enough to dominate Koss. So it would be the biggest upset of the tournament so far, I think, despite all the upsets that have happened. If Koss beat Nada.
Huh.
Yeah.
So looking at these four matches, what is the do not miss this match? Is it the easy answer of White Raw MC? Does everyone agree with that?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Tyler Thorzine.
Aww.
You little guy. I
tickled.
hope you smash him apart, you little guy. If you lose, on the next day of the game, I'm just going to be like, the whole time.
We'll have to have a intervention if Tyler ends up losing next week. So those will kick off at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time on Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday we'll be Chill and Day 9 casting, and then Sunday we'll be Chill and Husky. Tune into that. TSL3 is awesome stuff. Just go over to teamliquid.net to check that stuff out. So while we were gone over the weekend, there were some announcements, and we've got Well Played is now launched. That's what we were kind of alluding to last week at the end of the show. And also the IGN Pro League has been fully announced with all the details out there. So we'll start off with Well Played. And if you don't know what wellplayed.org is, it is kind of the forum, basically. It is the SC Reddit team, the former SC Reddit team, now all moving over to Well Played. They're going to be doing production, I think, for the IGN Pro League and also for NASL. But my big question is, can these guys coexist with Team Liquid? And we'll throw this to Greg first.
Well, I actually don't know too much about it, but if they are working with IGN and NASL and it's at all exclusive, then I think that alone will give them enough to stand on, because that's going to be pretty huge content. And if Liquid, I assume, is still going to be pretty busy with their own stuff, it's a lot more focused on covering the Korean TSL going stuff right now. As far as I know, IGN and NASL aren't working with Liquid in any official capacity. So if they have that deal with wellplayed.org, then that alone will sustain them. Certainly they can coexist.
I think wellplayed.org is down. Did I just crash that?
We have a tendency to do that. We crashed EG when we announced my announcement.
I can't go to it, so maybe it's just me, because everyone else is saying that it's slow. But Tyler,
it's down for me.
Oh, maybe it's just San Antonio internet. We are in Texas after all. We saw how that went in Dallas.
Yeah.
Sean, what are you cracking up about?
I was making a silly face.
Sean amusing himself over there.
I was doing my magic carp. The sight's down. I was like, I was doing it for like 5 minutes and no one was saying anything. I think it's down. There was another time when we mentioned a site and it went down. And because I find myself funny, spend a lot of time by myself thinking of things that I find funny alone in my room, and I laugh and laugh at myself, and that was an instance for that.
There you go. Yep, looks like we have crashed it. Oh well, sorry about that. Tyler, can they coexist with Team Liquid?
Dude, I don't fully understand what they're doing yet. I think they will coexist with Team Liquid, but until I learn more about them and see, even like knowing what they intend to do is different from knowing what they're actually gonna do and what's gonna happen. So I think it's a little premature, but I could definitely see another site existing. Like right now, it's basically Team Liquid and replay sites that exist.
Gosu Gamers exists, but it's not really anywhere close to the site of Team Liquid, right?
Yeah, there's some other sites, and most of them are not really dedicated to StarCraft the way Team Liquid is. They're multi-game sites,
right?
So I don't know if I really feel like counting them, but there are a lot of other communities. I can't deny that. But as far as like a StarCraft dedicated site, it's pretty much only Team Liquid, and the only domain I think they're really lacking in right now is the replays. So. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what Well Played does. Competition is always good. I think that's the approach that both Well Played and Team Liquid take, is that competition is good, and they both want what's best for the community. So let's see what happens. I don't know. I saw that.
Well, go ahead.
What's that? Oh, I was gonna say I just like heard about their website today. And I saw that they were listing streams, so I wanted to get my stream listed too. Because if they are actually, this is the one big thing. Let's say Team Liquid is somehow missing out on a way to get new people into the community. Let's say like someone's like, I like StarCraft. Everyone that they know that likes StarCraft says, okay, you got to go to teamliquid.net. They go there, and for whatever reason, they don't like it. Well, if another site can pop up that can retain that StarCraft interest, that's good for the community, right? We need more people that care about StarCraft. So if Well Played does that and is able to get new people, if there's some niche community or even not niche community but more like mainstream community that wants to enjoy StarCraft but they don't like Team Liquid for whatever reason, then it's cool that we're providing that now as a StarCraft community. So that would be cool if they can do that. Anyway, I was gonna say I saw they were listing streams, and of course I want my stream listed everywhere, so I can get that ad revenue, baby. So I messaged them to get my stream listed on their site, but we'll see.
There you go. John?
Well, I thought it was weird that you used the term coexist like it was like a bunny coyote population in the plains, like, well, I think that in 6 months there will be no more Team Liquid left.
I guess that is a good point.
People visit it. I mean,
basically what I'm saying is, can another site also exist with just how dominant Team Liquid is in the StarCraft 2 world? I mean,
in my experience, like from experiencing like the growth of the daily, like, I mean, if there's quality content, people will like show up. If there's like no quality content coming out, then no one will show up, and people will vote with their eyeballs. As I've experienced when I do a shitty show, and it's just like the numbers, and I'm like, I need to be funny immediately, and I like say a joke, and it's not funny. It's like a direct vertical drop off. It's awful. But like, so. I mean, the Reddit guys have their heart in the right place, so if they're going to keep churning out some good shit that the community will like, that's also really good, is that they're community members, and Team Liquid are community members, so they know what the community would want, and then they just make fun stuff for the community accordingly, such as the Team Liquid Star League. It wasn't a bunch of oily, grimy 80-year-old men who are oil trust fund babies, like, money train, woo-woo, like, just let's host a tournament. I mean, they get it, so, I less care whether both communities can coexist, because I don't really think of them very much as a separate community. I kind of think of them as people I think that the well-played people create a space so that way they could have agency in creating their own cool projects. So they better be cool, because if they're not, I will not vote with my eyeballs.
Here's another round of questions for you guys. What can they do that Team Liquid currently does not to kind of stand out in the crowd? Is there anything specifically? We'll start just with IdrA this time and go back around.
Well, you said they have partnerships, or they're doing coverage for IGN and NASL. That in itself is pretty good, because there's so many tournaments going on right now that it's hard for any organization, even one as big and good as Liquid, to really cover it all thoroughly. So if there's some segmentation of the leagues and they focus more on those two, then yeah, they can do that.
Tyler? Although you're just going to go and tell Team Liquid as soon as it's over. What can they do differently, man? Or do
I don't know.
Do this
I guess I'm going to just have to agree with Greg and say, like, I don't think Team Liquid... I mean, right now, if you look at the coverage Team Liquid provides for the TSL, that's, like, way beyond the coverage they provide for any other tournament, because it's their tournament.
Right.
And so, like, if...
Makes sense.
If you want, like, news writers providing content and stuff like that for every single tournament, if you like those write-ups and stuff, then I think there is some room in the community for these write-ups to happen for other events. Like MLG, for example, they don't do that themselves. Like, you don't see these grand articles of, like, recaps and stuff like that.
They actually do exist. It's just that no one goes to them.
Well, there you go. I mean, yeah. So I think, yeah, if they want to focus on the organizations that they're associated with and provide that kind of content, I think that would actually be really useful.
Sean, you got anything besides your Magikarp face?
I'm not going to lie. I literally did not hear the question at the start, so I was hoping to piece it together as everyone else was talking.
Well,
but I'll just say something that I kind of want to say.
Let's do it.
I have a hard time finding the TSL brackets in general.
That's true.
The only place I know how to find them is to go to Wikipedia, type in TSL3, then there's like a bracket tab, and I click on that. But I think that took me a long time to find, and I'd kind of like a comprehensive, easily, clearly linkable FAQ page, because like I actually didn't know the prize pool till a while ago.
Well, hey, now I've just realized something. For the last TSLs, really they had their own website, right? There was like a separate domain name or something. Like they launched.
Kenny gets messaging me.
They launched a TSL website, and now it's just stuck on the TSL forum, subforum of Team Liquid.
Hold on,
like they're
okay, so from Kennegat says, oh god, now Hotbid's messaging me. Kennegat says it'll be much easier in a few days. ... So,
okay.
Whatever that.
So yeah, I hope that they're launching a website. I'm not like spilling the beans or something, but the last TSL. There was a TSL website that you could go to, and then that was all TSL information.
Kennegat says, we didn't downgrade, we're just slow as fuck. So, straight from the mouth right there, from the Canadian member of, staff member of Team Liquid. Sean, the original question is, what can Well Played do that some of these other sites don't do on their websites to kind of make themselves stand out and make people visit, if you have anything off the top of your head? But you would want to see, if you want to go to a site and immediately want to see something there, what would it be? It would make you come back more and more.
I'm trying to think of anything different than what the other two unbelievably intelligent gentlemen with whom I am corresponding have said before. No, yeah. Do your thing. Yeah.
So... Before we go on and talk about the
I hope they have something in mind, right? They started
as opposed to blacking out, coming to and being like, holy shit, I got a website. Like, they actually got a girl pregnant. Like, oh my god. Oh, what do I do with my website?
Yeah. So I hope they, can say something for themselves. What are their plans?
Oh man. Let's let Sean have his moment.
Sean, let's start a website, man. Team Liquid's not doing something. I don't know what it is, but we'll figure it out later. Let's lay out the groundwork.
Sean's website is just going to be him laughing constantly at someone. All right, we good? We composed ourselves, Sean? Okay, all right. Before we move on and talk about the IGN Pro League, VP Burns 007 from Twitter wants to know, what was our favorite April Fool's jokes this year?
I got engaged to my best friend, and 100% of people like fell for it. It was so good because like I've been best friends with Cambria for like years. So, and she's even listed as like my sister on Facebook. So I was like, "Do you want to get engaged?" She's like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." And like the night before MLG, I was like just chatting to her. She's like, "Yeah, you got to go to bed, get some rest. You know, it's a big day tomorrow. We're getting engaged." And I was like, "Yeah, let me go to bed early." So sent the engagement thing. She confirmed. And, like, almost every person I'm friends with was like, "Congratulations, oh, my God, I always knew it." And her mom freaked out and, like, got up in the middle of the night and, like, tried to call. It was like, "What, did you get engaged to my daughter?" Shouldn't sound like that. I mean, it sound like, God. But even my mom was like, "Really? No, it's a joke. But are you engaged?" So that was great.
That was the worst one because I kept waking up all night because you had, like, a billion texts and calls coming through in the middle of the night.
Yeah, it was so good. It was worth it.
Tyler, best April Fool's joke.
I don't know, man. I gotta skip on this question.
Man, you're killing me tonight.
Sorry, I got nothing this year.
This entire year,
Well,
you got nothing.
I mean, this April
okay.
Fool's.
I see what you did there. IdrA.
Okay.
I don't know. I actually didn't hear about it. The only one I heard was kind of funny. It was when Root did their A&W Root Beer announcement, and all the EG guys were sitting around. It was like we had just gotten into Dallas, we were just sitting around. Someone saw it and was like, and it took us all 5 minutes to realize it was funny because it was Root Beer. So.
You say root, not root.
Root Beer.
Root beer?
Root Beer. I don't know. I'm from Michigan. Does that make me talk funny?
Root. No.
I say root beer.
I
I say
beer.
root beer.
Yeah.
Root. You and I opposite.
Plants have roots, so yeah.
Plants have roots.
So can I just blow the lid off something? So in Dallas. This is going to be totally anticlimactic. But one of my friends in Dallas, he's kind of like he's beyond the trends, man. He's at the very front of things. Now he's heard.
Is he at the front?
The
front?
Yeah. So look, root beer and bourbon is apparently the new cool cocktail. You got to go to a bar and order a root beer and bourbon. That's the thing, man. Do it quickly, because in a month you'll not be cool. This is like kind of one of those hipster things. Yeah. If you want to do it now while it's like real, do it now. But in a month,
you're going
to be doing it just because it's cool in a month. But do it now, you're cool.
I'm trying to remember. God damn it! What the hell is the name of that tequila or whatever?
Greg and Sean are like, we're nerds. We abstain from this conversation.
I'm at the like player party thing on or the bar where all the players were on Sunday night, and I go up to Huck and I'm like, Huck, let's make friends. He's like, only if you go get me a drink. And it's like, okay, let's go. And then he says some type of tequila and Coke, but I can't. It starts with a D, and you guys probably aren't gonna be able to help me. Maybe Tyler can. It was It was Spanish. Maybe someone in the chat can mention this. But man, it was the sweetest tasting drink I've ever had. I was so surprised by how sweet it was.
A Don Julio.
Di-Serono, I think. Di-Serono, does that make?
Oh, Di-Serono?
Di-Serono. Di-Serono's like really good. It's like a hazelnut liquor.
Almond liquor, yeah, that's right. That was pretty good. It was good.
Yeah. I've heard of that, yeah.
Not bad. I'd say go drink that after you drink the root beer and bourbon.
Hey, try it, man. Try it. For all the like day 9 drinking games, I know how many there are out there. you need to get root beer and bourbon.
There you go.
And get Jim Beam. That's
only the
thing.
best. Only the best.
Well,
Is that even the best?
wait, is that sarcastic? 'Cause
Yeah, I guess
it's not.
I guess it's the worst. I don't
It's
drink
kinda
bourbon. I hate bourbon.
mediocre. No, Jim Beam's good though. So get the root beam. That's what you're drinking is the
Root beam. There you go.
Yeah.
Root bean.
Just go up to the bar and say, "I want the Tyler," and then they'll know exactly what you're talking
I'll
about.
have a bean and bourbon.
I want to be sponsored by a cocktail though. Do you know how cool that is?
Is gum not good enough for you, Tyler?
This is like, yeah, it's not enough, man. Because like actors and musicians and stuff, they can go like promote. Because like Absolute, for example, will like come out with a new cocktail, right? That involves Absolute, and then that's their whole thing. They want to promote this cocktail that you have
Kinda
to
like
put
the Red
Absolute
Bull and vodka.
in. Sure, and so
Red Bull
there's all
promotes
these
the shit
like
out of it.
promotional things. I want to be that guy. I want to be like, I want Absolute to say, we need Tyler to show up to this bar after MLG.
No, show up to every single game, just like Terrence Pro, whoa, like every single match. You'll be dead by like round 3. Like, don't go in the open bracket, man. You will not survive.
Yeah, for real though. That's my next goal. Within the next 5 years, I want to be sponsored by a cocktail.
There you go. There you go.
If I like invented my own mixed drink, could it sponsor you?
Would it be the girliest drink ever, Sean?
Yeah.
It would. It would. Just be
I had something that tasted like a fucking herbal treatment or some shit on Sunday. Someone gave me. I had no idea what it was, but I thought of you when I was drinking it, Sean.
Let me tell you something. I like it nice and girly. Like seriously, it better be made out of like lollipops and daisies and unicorn
Alright.
blood.
Sean, next time you go to a
These
bar,
things.
this is what you order: raspberry lemon drop.
It's not bad.
Just trust me. Raspberry lemon drop.
It's like raspberries and paint thinner. It's like you're gonna kill me. I'll do it next time I get crunk.
There you go. Sean gets crunk quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm a crunker. That's one of my favorite things. When people are like, I got this. Some guy came up to me. He's like, "Come here." I'm like, "What is it?" And he's like, "Okay, I know you might not want this out, but how often are you drunk in your cast? Because I
Who said
know
this?
you're drunk."
Some random.
Some guy. He like
Oh.
literally pulled me into a corner, and some guy's like, "Oh, day 9." He like shoot him off. He's like, "Hold on 1 second. Dave, how often are you drunk?" I'm like, "Never." He's like, "You're drunk at least some of the time." No, I don't. I don't even like have alcohol in the house that's mine. Like I don't.
I could- I could say, I can
Does this-
attest to the fact, Sean, if you give him one beer, he will be set for the night.
One beer and I'm dancing naked on the table.
I have
Wait, now,
not
Sean,
seen that, thank God.
Sean, does that offend you at all?
No,
Is that
what?
offensive in any way?
Sean's
what?
not offended by that.
Suggesting that you're drunk.
To be drunk.
No, it's
Yeah.
the truth. How could you be offended by the truth?
No. The guy.
No, that someone
Sean,
suggested.
do the magic carp. Do the magic carp.
Yeah, right. Because I've gotten some of that too. Of course, I don't put myself on 5 days a week, but like
Well, they're always like,
I've gotten some of that too.
Tyler's so high right now. Listen to him
Yeah.
cast this game. They're just normal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I just-
I'm like sober, and I'm like, is there something wrong with me? Like I get all insecure about it.
I've just gotten word from Twitter that bear semen is an actual energy drink. Is anyone? This is
Yeah,
hot,
I know.
hot news.
Seriously, hold
It's
on.
literally hot news. Wait, is this some? This better be
Hold on.
bear.
I have to dodge my trash zone. Yeah.
Oh, have you?
Hey, look.
Day 9.
Old fashioned bear semen.
There you go. That is some awesome stuff. Someone just, what is this? I gotta stop reading links from people. Let's move on to our next topic. The IGN Pro League was just announced, and the details are kind of missing that $150,000 amount that got released. So it's 16 players, 9 different North American-based clans are competing for $5,000 for automatic qualifier spots for the IPL Season 2. This is all over at IGN.com/IPL. Players are Cats, Sheth, IdrA, Machine, Vibe, Select, Spades, Druby, Phoenix,
Cats.
Stall Life, TT1, Kiwikaki, and Control, Og, Minigun, and Axlov. The commentators are Wheat, Total Biscuit, HD StarCraft, and Pain User. And it will start on the 21st, which is a Thursday. And it looks like they will be wrapping up on Sunday, May 1st. So, 16-player double elimination tournament. They're using 4 MLG maps, 4 GSL maps, 2,500 for first. Tyler, what do you think of the tournament? Just a standard tournament? I mean, I really was trying to think of something to comment on.
It's going to be okay. I think it'll produce some good games, but like, it doesn't have the most impressive lineup. I mean, it's all North American. It's missing a few of the good North American players, but it's gonna. Which well, I'll just leave it at that. But like it's gonna have some good games, but it's not gonna be the most amazing tournament. There's like so many good tournaments going on right now that it's hard to like live up to it, right? So, like, we've just had GSL World Championship. Well, it's still going on, and MLG just happened. Lots of amazing games. TSL going on, and ASL to look forward to. We'll get to that in a second. Their whole damn schedule. There's like 1 billion good games going to happen.
7 trillion.
So.
You know, it's actually going to be insane. How many games on a daily basis and on a monthly basis are going to be played of StarCraft 2? I watch a fair amount of StarCraft 2, probably anywhere from 5 to 7 hours a day of streams, VODs, and whatnot. I'm not going to be able to watch all those games, so I think it's going to start becoming who is putting out the better production quality and who also has the better games/players coming out of those events, which honestly don't think is a bad thing whatsoever. I think.
No, it's really good for pretty much everyone.
Yeah. You want to speak to that more? Oh, Sean, you muted your mic, I think.
I did. That's because I was like tapping, man. I was getting my beat on, and I didn't want to have the whole stream experience it. But I like the idea that there's some major people with huge amounts of money trying to compete for my eyeballs over StarCraft 2. I like that. I'm into that idea. So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's kind of funny, because in Brood War, I think everyone would, like, freak out if it was like a $300 prize pool. It's like, oh, you get the best players in the world to show up. Like, people would, like, pay to commentate it. It was, like, huge. And now it's, like, 5,000. I don't know. I'm not really crazy about it. You know, it's only good, especially if IGN's behind it. So, assuming that, you know, things go as was stated in their FAQ, you know, then that's awesome. So I sincerely hope that all these leagues just skyrocket to infinity.
Yeah, the $150,000 thing was never supposed to apply to this. I think it might even be in the title or something. It's just supposed to be an introductory league, and then the big shebang starts next season with $150,000, and I don't know. I assume higher production values. This is like a test run.
Yeah.
Although it is still going to be North American only, I believe.
Right. Tyler, 2 things. Wellplay.org has set up your stream already.
Oh, nice.
So that is up and running. And
I
also,
sent them an email, so they're quick.
Well, they might have been listening here, but Wellplayed also is going to be producing the IGN Pro League, I believe, or doing VODs, I think is the actual thing that they're doing for IGN. So that's another thing that they're involving themselves with. And also, the $150K, I have gotten word from the IGN guys, it's the minimum prize pool for 2011 is where that number came from. So that they also have been, well, I'm not going to mention that. We'll just move right along. I don't want to get Tyler in trouble. What is up next? Let me bring this open. I'll tell you after.
Please
Tyler.
don't get me in trouble.
I'll tell you later, Tyler.
Okay.
So the GSL World Championships are going to be happening sometime this week. I think it's Friday here in the U.S., Saturday over there in South Korea. But last night the round of 4 occurred. We had Marine King Prime taking out MC, and MVP taking out Sond. The only real big surprise is MKP winning, but that's going to mean Marine King Prime versus MVP, kind of a rematch of GSL season, is that 3?
4.
4. So we're going to preview it a little bit. Tyler, you'll start this off, then we'll go to Greg and Sean.
Okay, so I know I said we would just preview the finals because none of us had time to watch the latest matches, but
yeah.
I have.
Well, we watched the MC
I watched
Marine
King Prime versus MC now.
Yeah.
So I'll just give a little bit comment on that because I think it deserves a little bit comment because everyone, I think, pretty much assumes MC is kind of the favorite for everything he enters in, especially if latency isn't an issue. So he got knocked out, and I will say that I think it's kind of proving what I've said about him before, the way he lost this series against Marine King Prime, is that he doesn't play a completely safe style. Like, a lot of times the way he's kind of playing safe is by putting pressure on his opponent. And when you put pressure on your opponent, I know Sean says this a lot, you put pressure on the opponent and you kind of get full information that way. You're just in their face, then you kind of know what they have and what they don't have. And that's kind of what he does, but it's not like foolproof. And there's definitely some cracks in the way he plays. And I think Marine King Prime played this series really intelligently. Just as a whole, I'm not going to talk about specific games, but yeah, MC, he takes some risks. And I think when he was his most dominant, he was taking a lot of risks. But he just knew how people would play, and so they paid off really, really well. And now that he continues to kind of play the same way, people are figuring him out, and it's not going so well. So I'm kind of just like laughing at all the people like, well, MC really is safe, you're just not getting to see it. And he knows how to play safe, but he's just not doing it right now because he knows he can win this way. No. It's coming around now.
No. No.
So I know I'll get criticism even for this. He's still like a really, really good player.
The criticism will be like nice 16th at MLG, Tyler.
Yeah, that's exactly what it'll be. But like, yeah, I think he's not gonna, in the next couple of months, we won't see him solidify his position as like the best StarCraft player in the world. I think the next couple of months will actually be him not playing as well. So yeah, that's I'll just say that, and I'll let the other two, the two guests, preview the finals.
IdrA, let's hear some previewing, man.
Well, I haven't actually. Well, it's TVT, so I don't know that much about it to begin with. I haven't seen them play too much, but I'd imagine it'll just be pretty much the same way it was in GSL finals. MVP should roll him. He's just a much better player. What Tyler was talking about was a lot more interesting. I agree, but I also think that I don't know if anyone really established himself. It's just I feel it's so volatile. I'm not sure if we'll ever have a bone draw type of player. I don't.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, MC is definitely not the end all be all. He's not going to win the next 3 GSLs or anything silly like that.
Sean, are you okay over there?
Yeah, I was funny and I had a huge swig of water, so I had to do one of those sort of things. Then I swallowed. Done.
Boom.
I know I just want Foxer to win, like real bad, or Marine King Prime. For any of you nerds who don't know Miss Foxer, I really want him to win because I've never seen someone so deeply emotional all the time.
Dude,
like his food would be a little too spicy, and he would just.
He does this
like,
a lot. He
like
pinches the middle part of his eye.
We can't
really
see your webcam, dude.
Oh,
You're
well,
using it on
everyone
exploit.
else can. He takes his 2 fingers and puts them right next to his nose there on his eyes and like puts his head in his hands every time.
Like this?
2 hands, Sean.
Like this? This is what you're describing. Is he like...
Yes.
I hope... What is he doing?
That's the ceremony. That is the ceremony.
You got it, Sean. You are 100% correct. I can't even talk right now. All right. So yes, one of the most emotional players. I mean, last night when he beat MC, he was down 0-2, came back and won the next 3 games, and immediately when he won that, he just started crying in the booth. And then during the interview, I think he was also in tears the entire time too. So
he was sobbing like a little girl who ran out of chocolate cake, man. Let me tell you, he was like broken down over that win.
Yeah.
I hope he's going to be okay for the finals.
I do too. If he loses them, who knows how depressed he's going to get.
It's almost as bad as when I beat MC.
Sean, do you have any predictions on the finals? Who's going to take it?
I mean, MVP will probably win. I think it won't be like a 4-0 because
that could never happen.
Great. Now you've got Sean eating his. Sean is out of control.
I chew on my headphone cord like a lot. I do this like all the time.
To the magic art face, just to fill time, Sean. I can't wait till the GIF is made of that, 'cause that'll be awesome. So looks like when we went live, or right around the time where we went live, the North American Star League has released some more information, specifically the prize pool. So the overall winner for the first season is going to be taking home $50,000, second place $25,000, third $10K, and fourth $5K. Players seeded 5th through 8th will get $1,500, 9th through 16th receive $500, and all players will receive an additional $500 for attending the finals. That is a lot of money. Tyler, IdrA, you guys are both in it. What are your thoughts? And also, what do you think about the rigorous schedule when it comes to all the matches being played?
I really like pretty much everything that they're doing. And if they can actually put out that many games regularly over a period of like 10 weeks, 9 weeks, whatever it is, and just do it well, that will be incredible. It will. Yeah, it's great, and that's a ton of money. Again, kind of the same thing as a lot of people have said about MLG. It feels top-heavy, 50,000, then dropping down to, what was it, 1,500 for 5th place. That's a really, really...
15,000?
Wait, was it 15,000?
For fifth place, it's 1,500.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said second place. I was like 50,000 to 1,500. That's going to be a pretty stiff final match, man. It's like, oh my god, I lost $49,000, man. Sorry, never mind.
I understand the shock value, and it is good advertising to say, you know, the winner of this is going to get $50,000. The esports is real. But for the players, it kind of sucks. I mean, yeah, it's just winning a tournament, winning every tournament you enter isn't going to happen. Having one event for $50,000 is just putting so much into luck and who happens to have a good day, who happens to have things go their way. It's uncomfortable for the players. I can understand it, but I wish it were different.
Tyler, what are your thoughts?
Well, this is like definitely the biggest prize money I'll be competing for in the near future. I got to wrap up TSL, but then, God, it's going to be all NASL. And as far as I understand it, their second and third season are going to come pretty soon, right after their first season. So, just as a player, I'm thinking like I'm playing NASL and almost nothing else matters until MLG Nationals. I mean, of course, I got to play really well at every single MLG, and trying to win $5,000 is nothing to ignore, but $50,000 is 10 times that. It's a lot more, and then NASL's third season, I assume they're going to follow the same prize structure, just double it, and it's going to be $100,000 for first place, so that's going to be an insane amount of money for someone to get. I mean, I know GSL has already awarded a couple of those similar, like 87,000 or something, but like, yeah, this shit's getting real. I don't even know what movie that's from, but shit just got real.
I think it's from like every action movie ever.
Yeah, every action.
Gets towards the end and they're just like, shit just got real, then like something blows up.
Yeah.
In the back.
I mean, it was my complaint kind of from the start with MLG that they're so national heavy. So it kind of sucks that I gotta put all of their events except for nationals kind of in a secondary. But like, really, NASL is like the thing for every player right now. It's just the prize money is too big to ignore. Yeah, having a shot at 50K or 100K is just insane.
Tyler, open up the stream real quick. Let me know when you do, and then we'll do a little bit of fun times here. Got it open? You good?
Hold on.
God, you're killing me.
Trying to watch GSL, man.
That's what I was doing.
Alright,
You good?
it's open. I'm watching an ad now.
There we go. This is the movie.
Alright.
You actually can't see the shot, but you'll hear it.
Shit just got real.
There you go. It's from Bad Boys 2. Martin Lawrence says that. Hotbed and Kennicott filled me in on that, as well as the entire
Nice. I heard it.
There you
Shit
go.
just got real.
There you go.
Shit just got real.
So, here, if you haven't actually seen the full NHL schedule, this is how it's going to go down on the...
They got sister, man. Shit just got real. Sorry.
On the 12th of April, Moon Grubby, Vibe TLO, Artosis Chef, Phoenix, Kiwikaki, Rainbow Moro. 13th, July, White Rock, QXC, Moman, Dark Force Cruncher, TT1 Show, In Control and Snare. 14th, Nanny Wall, Straylock, Moonglade Slush, Kawhi Rice, Hey Pro, DDE, Nada, Squirtle, Axel. This goes on for like every day of April and also a couple of days, or no, like the first like 30 days or something in May, and also leading on to the next month, whatever that is, because I'm bad at calendars. But that is so many friggin' games. Like, how... That's so many games. Like, that is longer... That's probably going to be around... These are all best of threes, right? Is that...
Yep.
So it's going to be like the GSL round of 32, where they're like 6 or 7 hour days each day of casting. That's so much stuff to watch.
So I've got a worry right now that I'll just put out there, and this is actually, it's a worry for me, but then it's probably like the goal for NASL.
What, so you have to play like 10 games a day or something?
No, not from the player perspective, but from the spectator perspective. You could just buy your NASL pass and then only watch NASL. I mean, okay, because the StarCraft fan has a limited amount of time. Like, they can't watch everything, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like there's at least a pretty good group of people who might not think it's such a bad idea to just buy the NASL ticket and just be like, all right, I'm just going to watch NASL. Like, there's too much shit out there. I'm just going to follow one thing that's producing a shitload of games, and they have a lot of good players, and that's going to be my thing. And that's, like, bad for the community. It's great for NASL, but I think it's bad for the community. Like, if they're bringing in new people who are only going to watch the NASL, okay, that's fine. But if any, like, existing fans are like, shit, I don't have time for this shit anymore. I'm just going to focus on NASL. Yeah, shit just got real, NASL. Like, I don't want anyone to watch purely the NASL. So it's going to be kind of weird. But I feel like you could do that because, like, 25 matches a week. And then once that's over, then you have the finals, which you have a whole, like, storyline built up for because of the whole divisional play. It's going to be probably the most interesting finals you could watch if you've actually invested that much time into it so far. Yeah, I hope no one is like, I'm just going to watch NASL. Please don't do that.
Honestly, I don't think
I like the way that you... Oh, go ahead, Greg.
Politeness fight. Let's go.
Honestly, I don't think that approach or that is entirely bad, because it's like you were saying before, you know, the MLG circuit events, or like the ones before the national finals, they're kind of on the back burner now because NASL is so much bigger. Well, this just kind of encourages everyone else to step it up. If NASL can put on a production of this scale, have that much money going, then, you know, good for them. If they can do that, they deserve all the attention. And if the other tournaments won it, then they should match that. So I don't know. I think everyone benefits from it, really.
Sean, do you have any thoughts on all of that jazz?
I mean, I just like the idea that Tyler, the way he initially said it, made it sound like that's all the person would do anymore. Like they would buy their NASL pass and drop out of life because they got like 8 hours a day, full-time job watching NASL. It's like, shit, I gotta eat, I gotta feed the kids and put them to bed. I gotta get up early tomorrow and watch NASL. I mean, It's pretty cheap in terms of an entertainment value, I will say. A full-time job for only $20 for 3 months. Done.
It's not bad. Not bad at all. So that is going to be starting. What was the first date that I said? The 12th.
April 11th?
The 12th. It's the 12th, Sean. You failed. Just Magikarp. Everyone will forgive you immediately. Let's move on to user questions. No more Google Voice hotline again this week, but you can go and send email questions to sotgquestions@gmail.com. I'll also be taking them for Twitter for this episode, possibly in the future as well. First question for Greg. Why aren't Zerg players winning any tournaments, do you think? Has it anything to do with the players just not being good enough at Zerg yet, or is it more about imbalance? Sean? Here we go.
No.
Here we go.
No, obviously, Zerg is awful. It's been like this for a long-ass time. If you look at like any statistic besides GSL Open wins, Zerg is at like 20% representation. It's been going on for long enough. People have tried enough different stuff. No, the game's broken. That is my opinion. We can discuss it now.
I'm waiting.
Go ahead, Sean. It's all you.
No. I mean, it's true. Zerg hasn't done anything except win 2 GSLs.
Compared to everything else, and if you want to talk about the quality of those wins,
you are worse than Artosis from Brood War.
Assembly was the GBC finals. Morrow switched from Terran to Zerg and got to the finals.
And hasn't done nearly as well as he did as Terran. He had God knows how many tournament wins.
In the beta! He hasn't played it for like 1,000 years.
Well, okay, he did really well when fucking Reapers were overpowered. Like, Reapers being overpowered is a different issue than Zerg being underpowered.
And now he's a pretty standard Zerg player. Yeah, he got to the finals assembly and he won a Viking Cup or something. Like, he's not bad, certainly, but he hasn't had world-class performances. I don't see how that's an argument for Zerg's strength. He was a lot better with Terran. He's not bad with Zerg, but that's certainly not an argument for Zerg being good. If you look at the GSL runs, which is pretty much the cornerstone of everything, and then you have the one assembly tournament, which a lot of players didn't go to, and Rhett should have won. Like, that was pretty much the height of Rhett's career, and everyone agrees in StarCraft 2 so far. That was like the height of his practice. He was in Korea playing a lot, and everyone agrees he's like one of the most talented RTS players outside Korea. It would have been a travesty if he hadn't won that. Then you look at GSL, Fruit Dealer avoids most of the best competition. He fucking 6 pools Inca, and then he has the Ultralist Bug versus Top. It's just, those, and that was God knows how long ago. The fact that people actually still rely on that as part of their argument proves that Zerg is so bad, because there's nothing else to go on.
Proves.
Yes. Proves. It's been bad enough for long.
Never mind. I take it all back. Zerg's had a hard time. But I don't see at all how the fact that they're like frustrating to play makes them.
No, it's not that it's frustrating to play. Terran was frustrating to play in Star 1 and had 3 of the 4 bone draws or whatever. Yes, it's frustrating, and it also doesn't win.
I just don't really care much about the whole Zerg imbalance discussion, to be honest. There's like so many good Zerg players who perform well in tournaments, including like Sen, who's won a whole bunch of like online events and stuff.
What's he won? No, he hasn't.
I don't remember any of the names of any tournaments online, I'm not gonna lie.
You can't remember any of the names of any of the tournaments Zerg won because they haven't won any.
I can't remember any of the names of tournaments Terran or Protoss has won. There was like one I casted or some shit. I actually don't remember it. But like I don't see how like completely ignoring all tournament results, like gameplay wise, I don't see how you can make a statement that Zerg's like the worst imbalanced race ever.
Well, the early game volatility for one means they're always going to have higher percentage knockouts, which is it's not so much an argument for the race being weaker, but it's certainly something that has to be considered because it means we're always going to underperform in tournaments because it's way easier for us to get knocked out by people we shouldn't. And then really, if you look at this late game strengths, it's just Zerg's Hive is objectively really weak, and especially against Protoss, they just decided to make Void Rays they buff everything versus Massive, and our Hive tech doesn't hit air. Fungal is a decent response to that, but no, our Hive tech is just bad.
Fungal's awesome.
Fungal is quite good.
I love I love fungal growth.
It's not as good as I thought it would be, but it is quite good.
You don't have enough investors.
Well, wait a minute. Did Sean just like Artosis fist bump IdrA? Is that what that was?
No, that was on time. Well, that was an asynchronous fist pound. Don't you dare try to troll this friendly conversation we're having.
JP.
Dude, investors are the shit. Like, seriously, I'm not gonna lie. I have a real hard time taking any balanced discussion seriously. I'm gonna degenerate to trolling like real fast. But I do think investors are very good.
They are, but no, because like Zerg, your strength is you're not really supposed to be able to kill them. It's just Terran and Protoss. It's pretty easy to not die to Zerg in the mid game unless you have a really big advantage. I think most people would agree with that. But Zerg is supposed to be able to then mass expand and take a big economy and become the swarming race. But because
Zerg does not behave anything like the narrative Zerg in StarCraft 2, and that's one thing that really depresses me. Like StarCraft 1 Zerg, you were like all over the map.
yeah,
So, like,
well,
StarCraft, slow mud and fat units that sort of ooze around and leave like juice everywhere. It's gross. It's shameful.
but the problem with expanding is like if you go over 80 drones, it becomes inefficient. That really big, nice post by Lelouch on Team Liquid goes into a lot more detail than we can here. But you can't actually make enough drones to support more than 3 bases at full saturation. You go over 4 and it's kind of silly. So Zerg can't use that to gain an advantage. And we can't just take that mid-game where we kind of in control of it. It's hard for Terran and Protoss to match the boom of units we get off the larva mechanic. That's the strong point in the game for Zerg. That's when we're supposed to be able to secure a game-winning advantage or go kill them. And we can't go kill them because our lair tech units aren't actually that strong. Like, Mutiling is great for map control and stuff, but to actually win a head-on fight, you have to have a massive advantage. And Roach Hydra...
See, I wonder about styles of Zerg play that don't rely so much on just having like a ton of larvae, because Zerg can get away with getting a good amount of expansions. And what you say is, I do agree with that. It's hard to be able to like saturate 6 bases like properly because you have like 120 drones, and you move out with 40 roaches. But like by being able to secure so many bases, you can skew it hard to gas and do kind of like a StarCraft 1 style, not that many drones mining minerals, but like full saturation on gas. And again, churn out a
with
load
infestors,
of infestors.
Maybe. That's one thing I see. But
No,
the infestor still
seriously,
isn't as good as a defiler, and that's what really made that work.
Well, I still think that like you can get way more infestors than is reasonable, and like it's pretty successful. Like I like the way Demaga played against MVP. I prefer to play that way against Protoss, and it's like, first of all, it's the most fun time you will ever have. But Greg, I encourage you tonight. I know you're sleepy. I know it's time to go Betty bye. You need to log on and only make infestors and expand a fuck ton, and tell me it isn't the time of your life.
I'm gonna have to agree with that and say like, make if the Zerg's goal is to get their 8th extractor with 3 drones on it as soon as possible, as soon as they possibly can get it safely, I think that around that they can start building something.
Yeah, because like you can get gimmicky as fuck. Like, let me play something. Mass Infester, Overseers, which don't actually cost food. You can get like 6 of those late game if you have like 5 sets of gas. And then you have Spine Crawlers, Queens, and Broodlords. And you will just be the awesomest Zerg ever. Fuck Roaches, and Zerglings, and Hydras, and all the units that make a lot of sense to make in StarCraft 2. No, actually, just like don't build them. Just make like Infestors. And then when your food gets too high, sack all the core units, get more Infestors and more Broodlords. It is actually stupidly strong when you have like 18 Infestors and some Breadlords.
Yeah, but getting to that is the problem. Like, Protoss is designed to be the timing rush race. Warp Gate and Chrono just makes timing rushes incredibly powerful, and I don't see holding timing rushes with that. It can be if you get up a bunch of Infestors, it's really good. That's just like saying if you get up a bunch of Mutas versus Protoss, it's really good. It is, but surviving to that point is really, really hard. And Protoss is just natural, easy style to play Protoss, and get that timing rush up, kind of use the aggression to know what your opponent's doing, and just control the game through that. That just hard counters both Muta and Infestor builds. That's why you're stuck with Zerg going these ground unit compositions. That, like, they keep you alive, but they don't win you games.
Well, I still wonder if there's a way to pull off like the style that is really popular in Brood War, Terran Berserk right now, where you open up Medic Marine Science Vessel, and then suddenly throw down 2 command centers and 5 factories, and just like go mech, where there's like a sharp transition point where you open with your like Roachling style, get some extra expansions, and like suddenly drop the Infestor bomb. See, basically I think that there's like so much space to explore that I can't take any balanced conversation seriously without trolling. But by the way, I like that I like that photo that was just linked
God
in
damn it.
chat.
Why in the world would this exist?
Oh, my.
Why? Why would someone do that?
Oh, that's terrible. Oh.
I guess I have to show this on stream because I don't want to be a dick to people, but
I think showing them that is being a dick.
well, I feel really bad about doing this, but this is what we're talking
Do
about.
what you should do is you should just stop recording right now and then show all the live folks who are not in the recording,
Nope. it's
and
already
then
been
that'll
done.
make all okay.
It's already been done.
Well, it's also 10:32, and I'm going to have to go in -2 minutes.
Yep. Last question, Sean. What kind of job long-term, other than StarCraft 2/gaming, do you plan on doing if StarCraft 2 doesn't work? Or if your casting career in StarCraft 2 doesn't work, whatever it is. Nothing?
I don't know. I'll cross that bridge when I get there.
Tyler, you got anything? You gonna go finish your
I'll go
degree?
into I'll do NASL full time.
There you go. Tyler, you gonna go finish your degree?
Yeah, I think I'd probably go to law school, but I don't know. Right now, like if like StarCraft exploded and died, I would not go to law school because all of my friends that I know that have gone to law school in the past couple of years, it's not been the greatest scene for getting the dream job that you wanted. So we'll see. I'll have to go with Sean and say I'll cross that bridge when I get there.
IdrA?
If it happened soon, I suppose I would just go back to school since I'm still pretty young. But no, I really don't want to think about that. I intend to stay in esports, and that's what's going to happen.
All right. Well, that'll do it here for State of the Game this week. Sean, since I know you got to go soon, why don't you do some shout-outs and promotion?
Twitter.com/day9tv, day9tv.blip.tv, day9.tv. Bam! Those are
Boom.
the 3 places to go.
There you go.
Sure, you can go to youtube.com/day9tv, but my responsibility is the YouTube uploads, and I'm like a week and a half behind.
Tyler, where can people go check yourself out?
I actually have to
well-
go right now, so I'm going to disappear.
See you later, Sean.
See you, Sean.
Bye.
He's good.
Well, first I want to give a big shout out and thanks to Team Liquid's main sponsor, the Little App Factory. You can go to TLAF.com or thelittleappfactory.com. Check out their software; it's pretty nifty. Also, big thanks to Stride Gum, baby. MLG Stride Gum, my personal sponsor. Follow me on Twitter, TYLER.
Hold on. Okay, Sean leaving the call fucked everything up. So now you're back.
Oh no.
Okay.
TYLERWASIELESKI. The easiest name to spell in the world. That is my Twitter ID at the moment. Might change it soon. If I do change it, I won't be making a new account. You can actually change your Twitter ID and keep the same account. So I might change it. Don't freak out about that if you're already following me. But follow me on Twitter. I'm getting better and better at updating that with all the relevant Liquid Tyler info that you need. I think that about does it for me.
Greg, where can... Oh, God, I got to get this... Oh, there we go. Okay. Greg, where can people check yourself out?
Best thing is probably Twitter at IdrAJit, IdrAJit. That's also the URL for my Facebook fan page. And the big thing recently is I'm starting to stream a lot more. I have a brand new laptop, courtesy of MSI, one of our great sponsors. And it's really, really good. I can stream basically in HD now. I think it is in HD. And I'm laddering a lot more now. I'm preparing for DreamHack, which is coming up. So I've been playing a lot. I'm going to be broadcasting almost all of it. So everyone should watch me stream. I'll post when I am streaming on Twitter. And my stream also links from IdrAJit.tv now. It's still hosted off Justin, but that's just an easier way to get to it. So I'll probably be streaming like after we're done here. I'll go have dinner and then start streaming. So everyone ought to watch that.
All right. Well, let's go back to the caster wall. See how... Oh, they can't see Tyler. They can only see IdrA. Tyler, you're just fucked. Sorry.
Okay.
Greg, what were you going to say?
Also, thank you to Team EG and all of our other great sponsors, Intel SteelSeries, MSI Notebook, Kingston HyperX. Big thanks to them, as always.
All right, you're back in the shot, Tyler. Thanks for Sean Day 9 Pot coming on and then just leaving the call to screw up all the screen captures. Follow us here on Justin.tv. Just click the follow button below. It really, really helps. You can follow the State of the Game Twitter at twitter.com/stateofthegame. Also follow myself on Twitter at twitter.com/itmejp. Review us on iTunes. That helps quite a bit. Also go check out the other daily show that I'm doing with Chobo Peon. Tyler, you're pulling it, Jeff.
I'm done. I immediately stop. Which is not what Jeff does.
It's not what, and that's why he's not on the show, because actually, no, he had stuff to do tonight. What? You muted your mic. There you go. Check out SC Center. It's a daily news show that I do with Chobo Piano to kind of keep you guys updated on all the daily stuff going on in StarCraft 2. Also this weekend I will be in Indianapolis casting the Intercollegiate Electronic Sports Invitational. Myself, Cat's Pajamas, and True Redemption, I think is the other caster for that, will be there. You can go check out more information over at teamliquid.net and at the CES webpage. Just Google that, because I actually do not know what it is off the top of my head. But that is sponsored by NOS Energy Drink and Major League Gaming, so we'll see you guys there. IdrA, Tyler, you guys got anything else, or can we just wrap this up? Call a show.
I think that's pretty much it.
All right.
I am done.
We're out. See you guys next week, where hopefully everyone will be not so tired from MLG Dallas. We are out. Thanks for listening. See you guys then.